Hi everyone, and welcome back to Raccoon's Radio Ranch. I'm your host, Raccoon. In this day and age, between social media and the internet, you can find information for just about anything you want to know about. But how much of it is accurate? That's what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. Because this video is going to be a beginner's guide to CB radio. So let's roll the intro and get things started. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that I like hearing from my viewers and subscribers. So please remember to leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up to like the video. And remember to please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. So the first thing, and probably the most important thing that I could tell any beginning CBer, is that having a good working setup is like having a well-oiled engine. Everything works together to make a good setup work right, which means that not only do you need a good radio, but it's also important for you to have a good antenna, microphone, and coax. If any one of these are bad, then having the best radio won't mean anything. Your radio can only work as good as the rest of the setup will allow it to. With that said, when I'm sitting at home watching YouTube videos, I watch a lot of CB and ham radio videos, and the one thing that drives me crazy is when someone tells beginners to buy a radio like this and one of these antennas. But don't do it, because you'll end up spending more money in the future when you end up replacing them with better equipment, and these will just end up in the dump. Now, I recently told you about 5 of the worst CB radios to buy, and I'll put the link to that video right here for you. But now I'm going to tell you about some of the best CBs that there are for beginning CBers. To come up with this list, I excluded all handheld radios. I also excluded radios that were overloaded with menus. A few menu options are fine, but not a ton of them, because that makes them more difficult for someone new to use. I also excluded radios that have sideband, again, because this is for someone that's new, so the simpler the better. Instead, these will be great performing 40-channel CB radios that are easy for any beginner to use and low cost, but not cheap junk. The first radio in this list is one I always call Old Reliable because it's so dependable, which is the Cobra 29 LTD Classic. This radio can usually be found online for about $120. Does it come with a lot of bells and whistles? Not at all. But it does have an illuminated S meter, SWR, and RF meter, switchable noise blanker, automatic noise limiter, RF gain control, dynamite control, which is just mic gain, instant channel 9, CBPA switch, a dim and bright switch, delta tune control, and an SWR calibration control, which are all the basics that you need in a good radio. And since we're already talking about Cobra radios, I think it's only fair that I mention the Cobra 29LX, which is essentially a Cobra 29 LTD Classic, but with a nice modern looking LCD display. This radio can usually be found online for about $130. Again, not a lot of bells and whistles, but it does have weather scan feature, automatically advances to the next clear channel, weather channel when driving across country, 4-color display, all channel scan, memory channels, same reliability as a Cobra 29. It monitors RF output power. It has an SWR of the antenna, battery voltage, and has a low battery alarm. Another radio that you should know about is the Uniden PC7A LTX. And believe it or not, this radio can be found online for around $90. This one has a PA-CB switch, SWR meter for antenna tuning, LED display, RF gain control, mic gain control, squelch control, analog SRF meter, a microphone, instant channel 9, and high cut. Now I'm going to tell you about one more radio, and then I'm going to talk to you about some decent low-cost antennas. So let's get to that last radio, which is the Uniden Bearcat 880. And you can find this radio for around $140. And its features are 7-color backlighting, NOAA weather, wireless mic compatible, talkback, radio diagnostics, digital SRF SWR meter, a frequency display, ANL noise blinker, memory scan, RF gain, microphone gain, instant channel 9 and 19, a channel indicator, and it includes a 6-pin to 4-pin adapter and has a dimmer switch day to night. And now it's time to talk about some antennas that are great for anyone that's just starting out. These antennas will be low cost and easy for any beginner to assemble and put up. First, I'll start off by saying that I've already made a video to help you find the best CB radio antenna for you, and I'll place a link to that video right here. Now, let's talk about antennas. I'll start with mobile antennas, and then I'll tell you a couple good beginner base antennas too. Mobile antennas I'm going to tell you about are magnet mounts. These antennas are easy to install. Just stick them on your roof, connect them to the back of your radio, make sure it's good and tight, and you're all set. The first antenna is the Little Will, which is made by Wilson Antennas, and it can be found for around $40. They say that it has a 300-watt power handling capability. It's made with a high-impact thermoplastic, has a heavy-duty coil that uses 14-gauge copper wire, exclusive low-loss coil design, it has a 36-inch stainless steel whip, and the frequency range covers from 26 MHz to 30 MHz, but not all at once. It needs to be tuned. The next antenna is the Wilson 500, which can be found for around $60. And they say this has a 2,000-watt power handling capability. It's made with high-impact thermoplastic, heavy-duty coil that uses 12-gauge copper wire, and has an exclusive low-loss coil design. It has a 54-inch stainless steel whip, has a frequency range of 26 MHz to 30 MHz, again not at once, needs to be tuned, and it also is capable of receiving weather channel frequencies. And the last antenna I'm going to tell you about is the K30, which can be found online for around $40. They say this one has a 600-watt AM power handling capability. It's a base-loaded coil. It has a 35-inch stainless steel whip antenna, 15-foot of pre-wired RG58 shielded coax, and a heavy-duty 4-inch 10-ounce magnet. And for those that it matters to, this one is made in the USA. And now, I'll tell you about two base antennas that are easy to get set up. The first antenna is the Antron 99, and the second one is the IMAX 2000. These antennas come in 3 easy-to-assemble sections. You just put them together, throw them up, and you're ready to go. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about them here because, as I said before, I've already made a video that goes into more detail about them, and you can see that here. Once you get your radio and your antenna hooked up, you're going to need an SWR meter so that you can make sure that everything matches up well. You don't want a high SWR because that can burn your radio up before you get a chance to use it too much. And you don't want that. First, you'll notice that there are quite a few different models of SWR meters for you to choose from. Make sure you choose the right one for your needs. I recommend a static SWR meter because they're low cost and easy for a beginner to use. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a short patch cord, and you connect that between your radio and your SWR meter. Then once you got it connected, then you connect your antenna coax to the other side. This allows your signal to pass through your SWR meter so that you can make sure your SWR is low. Everyone has their own preference, but I try to keep my SWR between a flat 1 to a 1.5. No higher. So I'm sure I probably forgot to mention a thing or two. And if I did, I'm sure you've noticed it. So if you did, then please mention it in the comments section below, and we'll talk about it there too. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up and like the video, and be sure to share it with all your friends and family. Click the subscribe to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.